Do you know when it's too early to do an NBA mock draft? Trick question. It's never too early to do an NBA mock draft. A lot of people will say the 2024 NBA draft doesn't have any surefire, superstar, all-star talent. But I think this draft is actually pretty deep. And the fact that there are lots of guys in play for that #1 pick just makes it all the more exciting. But enough of me blabbing away, let's do a mock draft. What's up guys, this is Troy. Thanks for tuning in to the Half Court Report today. Hey, appreciate the love on the last video. Lots of new subscribers to this channel with that video, so welcome. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. Also, drop a like on this video. Really helps out the channel. Since it's December, obviously the draft order isn't even close to being set, so I went over to our friends at Tankathon, and they are giving us the draft order based on current records, and here we go. With the first pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons are going with Isaiah Collier. He is a point guard out of USC, 6'3", 210 pounds. He's actually the #1 ranked guard coming out of high school. Pass first point guard. He can score as well, though. He excels in the open floor, getting downhill, finding open teammates. During the McDonald's All-American game, he led all players with 25 points, so that's pretty cool. But he's a good defender. I think he's a pretty safe bet in a draft where there is no clear-cut #1. Isaiah does need to cut down on his turnovers, though, currently averaging over 4 a game. Yikes. But I think that he and Cade Cunningham would make a pretty electric backcourt for the Pistons. I like him better than Killian Hayes or Jaden Ivey, who they have been playing at that guard spot next to Cade. Pick #2 is going to be made by the San Antonio Spurs, and they are going with Alex Sawar. He is a French prospect currently playing in Australia. 7'1", 220 pounds, 7'5" wingspan. Looking at his stats here, maybe they don't jump off the page to you, but he is only playing about 18 minutes a game. So I think considering that, pretty solid numbers. The team is going to draft Alex Sawar for his defense and hope that his offense catches up eventually. But he's a good help defender. He's a good rim protector. I see legit defensive player of the year potential with Alex Sawar if everything breaks right for him. And you know, the Spurs talk about wanting to play Wembanyama at the 4, and I think Alex Sawar would be that good enforcer, big body to pair with Vic at the 5 spot. And I just love an all-French front court. How cool is that? Make it happen, Spurs. Pick #3 is going to be the Charlotte Hornets, and they are going with Ron Holland. Holland is 6'6", 6'7". He can play that small forward or power forward spot. He's currently playing in the G League. He was the #1 recruit in the class of 2023. One of the youngest players in this draft, too. But he can make tough shots, usually makes the right pass to the open man when the defense collapses on him. But he fits what NBA teams are looking for these days. He's athletic, good motor, super aggressive. He does need to be a better shooter from everywhere, basically, because right now he's 20% from 3 and 57% from the free throw line. I mean, come on. But all things considered, I think he would be a good fit on Charlotte. They do have issues in their front court with Gordon Hayward on his expiring contract. Miles Bridges, there's talk about him going to be playing somewhere else next year. But Holland is another guy to add to that LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams core that the Hornets have. Pick #4, going to be made by my team, the struggling Memphis Grizzlies, and they are going with Matas Buelles. He's a teammate of Ron Holland in the G League. They call this guy the praying mantis just because he's all tall and thin, I guess, but he's 6'11", barely 200 pounds, if he even is 200. So with the Grizz being awful, it's going to pay off with a high draft pick. They need pieces to complement John Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. I think Buelles would be a nice connective piece for this team. With his length and his skill set, he can be plugged into multiple positions on the court. Handles the ball like a guard, shoots it well from the outside, pretty good rebounder. He will need to add some weight to his frame, but there is a ton to like about Buelles as an NBA prospect, and he has lots of upside. Pick number 5, going to be made by the Washington Wizards, and let's stay on topic here because they are going with Nikola Tosic. Not topic. He's a 6'6" guard from Serbia. Super young as well in this draft. He plays for a pretty good European team. He won MVP of the 2023 Under-18 European Championships this past summer. So that's got to mean something, right? But Tosic has great court vision, high basketball IQ, smooth jumper. He does need to work on his defense some, but there is a lot to like with Nikola Tosic. He is rising up draft boards. Would be a solid pickup for the Wizards. Pick number 6, going to be made by the Portland Trail Blazers. And how about Justin Edwards out of the University of Kentucky? This dude is pretty good. 6'7", one of those wing players that teams covet, but he is long, athletic, pretty good defender. He's good at playing the passing lanes. He can chase down the ball and get a block. He was the number 3 recruit coming out of high school, so you draft him hoping that he's going to check all those boxes as one of those 3-and-D players at a minimum, and then at maximum maybe a super athlete with all-star potential. But he has the tools that NBA teams love. Good guy to develop in Portland's system. Pick number 7 going to be made by the Chicago Bulls, and they are going with his teammate Rob Dillingham. Dillingham is a 6'3" point guard, also out of Kentucky. Pure athlete, blazing speed, great hops. He is just electric on the court. Super athlete, plays above the rim, really good handles with the ball. He can create for himself, create for others. Just all around solid point guard. Good shooter too, 50% from 3 on 4 attempts per game. And Chicago needs a point guard because we all know what's happening with Lonzo Ball. So make Dillingham that first piece of your rebuild. Oh, and also about Rob Dillingham, he went to Kanye West's high school, Donda Academy. So there's that.
What?
Pick number 8, going to be made by the Utah Jazz, and they are going with Jacoby Walter out of Baylor. He's part Ja. He's part Kobe. He's Jacoby. Walter is an instant offensive threat with his shot-making ability and the way he stretches the floor. He is particularly good in catch-and-shoot situations, even with a defender in his face. He's a confident player who tries on defense as well. I think with Jacoby, not as high of a ceiling as with some players in this draft, but he has a higher floor. So I think a pretty safe pick. Utah has a good team. I think Keontae George is showing them a lot at that point guard spot, so add Jacoby Walter to the backcourt with him. You've already got Lauri Markkanen. You've got Walker Kessler. All you need is a Jacoby, and you have it with the number 8 pick. Pick number 9, going to be made by the Portland Trail Blazers again via the Golden State Warriors because of some trade mumbo-jumbo that's been happening in years past. But they are going with Donovan Kingan. No, that's Klingon. I need to fire my editor. Donovan Kingan. Put the right photo up, please. Thank you very much. Donovan Kingan, 7'2" center out of UConn. This dude is enormous. Kingan was a huge component off the bench for that UConn team that won the NCAA championship last year. And you're drafting Kingan hoping you're going to get like a Steven Adams, Walker Kessler type of player, just a big body who can get some rebounds and play some defense. And that's at the very least. Maybe he ends up being like Rudy Gobert. But Kingan dominates the paint with his size and his frame. He is just a physical monster out there. He can make the right reads when the defense collapses. And on a per-minute basis, Kingan is one of the most effective players in college basketball. Pick number 10, going to be made by the San Antonio Spurs. They have another pick because of the Jakob Poeltl trade. So this was Toronto's pick, but now it's the Spurs. And they are going with Zachary Rache, 6'9" forward, also playing out of France. With Rache, he's got that quick release on his jumper, so it's hard to guard him. He moves off the ball well, gets to his spots. He's a good cutter. His dad was on France's silver medal winning Olympic team in 2000, so he does have that basketball pedigree. But I would love if the Spurs did this because you drafted French dudes Victor Wembanyama and Sidi Sissoko in the last draft. You've got Alex Sawar, who you drafted earlier in this draft, and now you have Zachary Rache. I mean, just get Roddy Beaubois as the head coach, make Tony Parker the GM, make it the French national team. Come on, Spurs, make it happen, okay? Pick number 11, going to be made by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they are going with Aai Mara. He is a Spanish player currently playing for UCLA, 7'3", about 250 pounds. Mara is a nice passer, skill-wise, moves his feet well, really great length. He's got good footwork, good shot blocker in the middle. He can score inside or outside, runs the floor well. Maybe it's just the Spanish thing, but he is getting Pau Gasol comparisons, but he's a little bit bigger than Pau. OKC has tons of picks coming, and they've got a full roster, so I think taking a guy that you can leave overseas to develop would be a good move. And maybe the Thunder front court of the future can be Aai Mara and Chet Holmgren. That might work out. Pick number 12, going to be made by the Atlanta Hawks, and they are going with Klei Wear out of Indiana. You may have heard of Klei Wear because he played last year for Oregon, and he was actually pretty terrible, but he is looking like he's kind of made a bit of a leap this year. He was a highly skilled center coming out of high school, decent post game. He can stretch the floor some with his outside shot. Big time athlete for a 7-footer. He's explosive around the rim, good leaper, great length. So just all in all, good size, long arms, solid frame. The sky is the limit for Klei Wear, but he does have to put in the work to get there to show that last year at Oregon was a fluke and that's not the type of player he is. But if everything goes right with him, I could see like a Jarrett Allen type of player in a few years. Pick number 13, going to be made by the Oklahoma City Thunder. This one is via the Clippers because of the Paul George SGA trade. They're going with Cody Williams, 6'8" forward out of Colorado. Williams is the younger brother of OKC's Jalen Williams. It's the Jalen J-A-L-E-N Williams. And I love when brothers can play on the same team. But Cody is good at getting the ball to his spots, using his length on defense to guard multiple positions. And as I've said before, in the NBA, there's value in those long, versatile wings. And Williams ticks a lot of boxes in what scouts are looking for in those types of players in this draft. And closing out the lottery, pick number 14, going to be made by the Houston Rockets via the Brooklyn Nets. And they're going with Shepard. He is the third player from Kentucky in this mock draft, 6'3", so a bit undersized for that shooting guard spot. And he's not an elite athlete, but he shows great ability to put the ball in the basket. One of the best shooters in this class. He has a very quick release. He is lethal from downtown, 61% from 3 on over 4 attempts per game. Jimmer Fredette, is that you? But seriously, Reed is such a good shooter. He is a shot maker. He can make plays for his teammates, does a good job of moving with the ball, finding open teammates. Not quite the pure point guard, but you could play him in that spot maybe for a few minutes a game. He does know how to run an offense, and he's got that high basketball IQ. Defensively, he is pesky on the ball. He can pick the pocket of the ball handler, and all in all, just make winning plays when he's on the court. A few guys who I didn't mention in this mock who we may see moving up in the coming months: Stephon Castle, Kyle Filipowski, Bobby Klintman, DJ Wagner. Lots of players out there and lots of good players as you go farther into this draft. So as we get closer to the NBA draft, I'm going to be doing more of these mocks, so make sure you are subscribed so you never miss another NBA video. Make sure you like this video as well. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Speaking of players who could be moving up in the draft, have you guys heard of Tidjane Salaün? He is a French player who could be a fast riser by the time the draft rolls around. He's got good size, pretty good skill level, and I could see a team taking a flyer on him, maybe even in the top 10. I did a whole video about Tidjane Salaün, so I need you to check it out. Let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys next time on the Half Court Report. Have a great day.